Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back with another recording of Hearthstone. So last time I said, so it's come to this because I was recording at 10 p.m. First recording of the day. That's not quite the case today. I've been recording all day a different game. I just was playing this in between during breaks, which I think is going to be my new standard operating procedure. I need to get a hunter or mage, druid or rogue, and a paladin. Let's get in here. Tavern Brawl. Somehow I haven't seen it in like a while. I think I may have missed one. Just by some strange turn of events. Here we go. Start with hunter. So, I'm recording Shadow of Mordor. I'm done with the game and yet not done with the game. And it is becoming a almost consistent issue with me. Any game I play that's longer than, I would say, 15 hours, by the time I'm done, I'm burned out of it. And Shadow of Mordor is just a great example of that because it is literally only one thing, the whole game. All you do is kill orcs, or they call them Urics because they're stronger than orcs, but whatever. As far as I'm concerned, they're orcs. And for 15 to 20 hours now, I've been just running around killing them. There is a lot of polish on how you kill them and different ways you can kill them, but then there's a lot of garbage in it too. Well, that was a little too easy, but whatever, let's move forward. So, I'm ready to be done with that. Unfortunately, there is... We'll just play as Paladin, I know that's one of them I need to play as. There's DLC that I need to get through, so I've started the first bit of DLC and it feels like it will probably be 3 or 4 hours to do that. Then I'll do the second bit of DLC, probably be 3 or 4 hours to do that. Then the third bit of DLC I think is more of a score attack mode, so I'll just kind of play it for an hour and say wrap up my
command the light.
mind on the game. As for the story mode, I would say, yeah, the story mode is the story mode. There's very little actual story in this game. It's one of its major flaws. Let's see. Whenever you summon a 1 health minion, give it Divine Shield. I'm gonna just do this first, then. I like Shadow of the Mordor, but you really should just run through the 10 or 20 main story missions. Not really get obsessed about it. There's collectibles, there's other stuff in it, but it doesn't make a lick of sense to actually go for any of those things. They are completely and totally added on and don't connect into the storyline well, and there's so little story in it because of that. So I've played Lego Lord of the Rings and I'm finishing up on Shadow of Mordor, and I'm thinking I may even play a troll game, a game where you play as a troll, as one of my other games, so that we can really just have a month of trolls, orcs, and fantasy.
Let me think.
That being said, if I am gonna every year have a fantasy
back to your homes,
a fantasy-themed month, I probably should move it away from the June-July time frame that this is going to be airing in. I think I should, if I'm going to do any fantasy, it should be like Fantasy February type things. Maybe figure out what month fantasy football starts or football starts and do it then. I think that would have been several months ago. It kind of depends on where my channel ends up going in the next year. Right now, it's not going anywhere very fast. It's
Is that it?
It's not an understatement that it's been a big backslide since Whisper of the Old Gods just stopped getting search results. I'm getting like 50 cents a week now. Maybe that's not too bad because I still can vaguely remember when I was getting like 7 cents a week. So that's still an improvement, but it's still a backslide from the $3 I was getting every week for a few weeks there. Maybe just 1 or 2 weeks. But I'd really like to see that first $100 come out this year, but I'd also like to see a huge spike up. The truth of the matter is, I am not gonna sugarcoat it when I say let's see, deal 2 damage to all enemy minions? Sure. I'm afraid for all of us, all of society, as far as just what income is gonna look like in the next few years. But in particular, I have to think of myself first, and I'm terrified of what it is for me. It would be so nice to get a living wage over the course of several years, or just a lifetime wage once. I mean, ideally, that's what I want. I'd love to win the YouTube lottery, and then I could just turn off ads revenue, and say, well, I'm here and everything's fine, so nothing that happens is gonna give me any trouble. Here we go, we'll just play this.
Reporting for duty.
I fight.
Job's done.
So yeah, I was playing Shadow of Mordor though, and then that game makes you hit the X button a lot, so my fingers are hurting, and I don't like that. Try to find maybe a mouse game. As far as the games I have to play, there's still a lot. We're working our way towards October. I fell behind a little bit, but I think I'm starting to gain.
Don't worry, loves. The cavalry's here. The battle.
Progress there.
The battle.
And hopefully we'll be starting down the path towards being 4 months ahead. At the end of this year, it would be unlikely that I could make it all the way to a year ahead.
Job's done.
There is a feeling, though, that there just isn't enough games. There just aren't enough games on Steam. And I would like to start moving towards newer games. But if I even do newer games, the release schedule is maybe a little different. For instance, Witcher 3, I played that game, probably put 200 hours into it. It went 3-4 months of releasing. I think for a game like that, that would totally happen. I could always go back and play Fallout 4, or Fallout 3, or Fallout New Vegas, or Skyrim, or maybe even the one before Skyrim, although I don't think I would specifically ever decide to play any of the Elder Scrolls games before Skyrim. That seems a little too much to ask. What's the other one I need here? We're just gonna play a little free play. I've done so much preparation here. Druid or Rogue, good. That'll screw us up. Give us a bit of a stand. So yeah, there's always something I could find to play. I have the entire Myst collection. That's something I was thinking about playing eventually. But when? I don't know. Myst May? I couldn't do a theme month after against Myst.
Anduin.
And if I was gonna do that, it would have to be
I must protect
mystery
the wild.
something, because it can't just be Myst. That would be, I could only play one Myst game at a time. And I have like the old Hitmans, the old Tomb Raiders. I think I've said this already. I may be repeating myself. I acted a little rounded and watched some stuff on Netflix.
Get in there and fight, maggot.
I watched a horror movie called Oculus that had the girl from
guide my lance.
Doctor Who that was one of the companions, and I kept looking at her and going, I know this actress, and I didn't get it until like 2 days after watching it. I liked the concept of Oculus. I didn't watch any of the flashback scenes, so half of the movie, almost more than half the movie, is flashback scenes, and I just fast forwarded through all of them.
Is someone injured?
So I'm saying I liked the movie while I only watched probably 30 minutes of a 2-hour movie. But heck, that's what I do sometimes. I just watch the small things.
Bathe in flames. For a loon.
What else did I watch on Netflix? I watched The Perfect Host, which stars the brother from Frasier, Niles Crane, and he does an interesting performance, and I really love that movie. It's kind of mature, and it's a
We must
scary
cleanse the Sunwell.
thriller style movie, and I really liked it when I first watched it, but I've had this issue that's plaguing me lately, where I go back and watch something that I've seen before, and it's just not as good as I remember it. Same thing happened to me when I watched the British comedy Black Books. I think the major problem with Black Books, now that I've seen it, made from I think the same creator as the IT Crowd, and even I've gone back and watched the IT Crowd, and it wasn't as funny as the first time. But the problem with Black Books is it should be more psychological and smart comedy, and it ends up being a lot more slapstick and prop comedy than I think it should have been. I would bet a major issue, of course, is that I simply am just not in the same mindset as I was when I first watched them. And it's hard to regain that. I was playing around with my PlayStation 3 and looking at the streaming services you can get now without having a PlayStation Plus account. So I've set that up as my YouTube/Netflix device instead of trying to have a Roku or trying to go through the Xbox 360, which is now... Where did I... Oh, I put it in my other room. I'm looking around my room going, where did I put that thing? And I'm like, I put it in the other room. Alright. So I need to probably fix that. There's probably a bunch of stuff in that room that needs to be rearranged and cleaned up because it's gathering dust. Electronics in particular that might be gathering dust. There's an entire computer in there that if cleaned out, dusted out, and put together, it would probably still run and be a decent computer. I've had, in retrospect, a realization that my last couple of computers have not been as robust and long-lived as I would have liked. I built a home theater PC probably 6 years ago, and it ran, and I used it for not very much because it was right when I was working a ton of hours, and that made a problem with it. And then on top of that, there was then I bought the gaming laptop because the home theater PC was designed to be silent, and so it doesn't have any active cooling on well, it doesn't have, nor does it need, active cooling on the video cards, but the video cards aren't very powerful because of that. So yeah, that's an issue too. So then I got the gaming PC. I used the gaming PC off and on for a while, but not a lot until I started to really think about, until I started this channel, did I use it for gaming, and I didn't use it that much before then. Right now I'm having a real falling out with computers and electronics, and my phone is still rebooting like crazy, and I can't fix it. It seems like, and I'm thinking to myself, wouldn't it just been worth it to buy a new phone? Just fix it that way. Let's see, 711 Wisp.
For the wilds.
So this will give me 3 guys. Let's see, if they just hit my face, that would be great. See, actually I can play all of these. So, yes, I'm certainly getting a lot more use out of my current computer. I'm not anywhere close to thinking about replacing or throwing away any parts, except for maybe the video card. That 1080p GTX video card sounds like it's a great deal, but my initial investment has already been very high. It's hard to get around that. Ideally, I want an owl. And now, let's see. Let's see. If I do this, I couldn't do anything else. So let's do this. This. Give +4 or attack to this guy. The one with the least attack is now
For the wilds.
This. Quickly now. Hurry up. Actually, I have plenty of time. Victory.
Well played.
So Somebody just posted like how they hate somebody was using some service to cheat to get dust and gold, and I'm like, I'd ever heard of it, uh, and I won't repeat it, but because frankly, if you try to use it, you're just gonna get banned. I suppose. Let's just look here and see if anything's changed. I suppose we'll just play wild. Let's just pick something and play some wild. Uh, um, let's do mage wild. Why not? So yeah, I just replied, yeah. Well, they're gonna get caught and they're gonna get banned, and then all their efforts gonna be down the toilet. When you're playing an online game against other people, you better believe there's checks and balances, and there's no cheating that lasts for very long. Uh, Furthermore, it's pretty awful to cheat against other people. I can excuse it if you're playing a single player game. I mean, I was talking about just in the last recording how I cheated uh, to get Adventure Town on my phone back to where it was at, and far beyond now because I have like thousands of diamonds. Speaking of microtransaction games, Overwatch is now out, and people love it, but it does have microtransactions in it. It's a weird sensation. What I feel, how I think when I see Overwatch is, I see to myself, oh, that's gonna be nice for the kids, which is a very strange attitude to have, but that's really how I think about it. It's just like, I'm personally not going to enjoy it or try and play it or try and learn it, but I'm sure the younger generation of video game players are going to enjoy it. The problem is it's just a first-person shooter game against other people, and I just don't want a part of that. After you cast a spell, give Cthulhu.
Let's make magic.
Let's see. Yeah, but I don't have Cthulhu, so the game is not showing Cthulhu. That sucks. So you can't trick somebody into thinking you have Cthulhu if you don't have Cthulhu. Interesting. What was this deck? This is like a freeze deck, I think.
Job done.
Yeah, this is a freeze deck. This deck is garbage. Total and utter garbage. So yeah, Overwatch is out. People seem to like it. Battleborn, sadly, not doing so hot. It sounds like. I hope that doesn't turn around and then make a scenario where we don't see Borderlands or Border Worlds come out. The next Borderlands 3, hopefully. I hope that doesn't mean Gearbox is now in trouble or that they're gonna backslide in quality, but who knows? Certainly might be the case that something like that happens. There seemed to be a lot of intense competition there, and Gearbox got out first, but I think at some point the two companies, Blizzard, Activision, and Gearbox, needed to sit down and have a conversation about which of these two games should come out at a different time. Because having them back to back just seems like they were sniping at each other and not really necessary. what's ironic here is
I
even
wield
though
the
Overwatch
power
has all the
of
polish, Battleborn has, I think, the more ingenuitive design in it. Because I think pretty much Overwatch is standard fare, where Battleborn has that whole Helix upgrade system that I don't think I've ever seen something like that before. So Battleborn, its upgrade system kind of, I would like to see that tried again. I would hate to see a good stone on the floor, but I've seen it in other games where if a game doesn't sell well, every single concept in the game is just never done again. Here we go.
Feeling chilly.
I guess that stops her from doing anything. She can still do Fire Blast though when she's frozen.
I dream
It's a little
the world.
odd you can. Let's see. Iceland. What do we want to freeze? This one?
Freeze.
I can't believe this is working this well. What else is going on? Not a lot. We're working towards E3. Slowly crawling towards that. It's no indication that anything new is gonna come about. Apparently, Half-Life 3 or Half-Life 2 Episode 3 is now like 10 years away from being promised from Half-Life 2 Episode 2, and that's never gonna happen, obviously. I don't know if Valve is ever gonna make any more games again. Yeah, let's transform that one into a boar. Then deal 1 damage to all of them.
Job's done.
Then end the turn.
Thank you.
I think, yeah, Valve is fine with just running Steam. I don't think there's really any interest in that company to make games, which is fine. I mean, somebody who is interested in making games is Ron Gilbert, who wants the Curse of the Monkey Island series and Maniac Mansion back from Disney, since Disney has now announced that they're out of the video game making business. That would be a nice thing to see. If he could get that, that would be ideal. Add a random minion to your hand that costs 3 less. Alright, well that didn't help anything. Let's see, can I do this, or do I have to do this, or what can we do? Doesn't matter, I'm gonna die anyway,
Well
so
played.
just take our pity shot and end the turn. I suppose at a certain point I need to get back to recording 3 recordings, but nothing's happening here.
Play magic.
I almost listened to all the Giant Bombcasts while recording this too, and probably should have, because there's just nothing to talk about. Let's try Warlock. Warlock is the, Renounce Evil deck, I believe. I'm just sitting here playing the game for only the reason that I might get 10 gold for 3 victories, nothing else. I sure hope that person who the way he phrased it wasn't really accusatory, but I sure hope they don't think that I cheat to get gold. Frankly, if I was cheating to get gold and dust on Hearthstone, I would have all the gold and all the dust. I would have complete collections immediately. It would probably help my videos quite a bit until I got caught and banned. And then I'd just be like, well, forget it. I'm never doing another video about Hearthstone, and see, then that just seems like a ridiculous way to end a series. Although how you end a series like this in the right way is a good question.
Job's done.
Uh, I suppose inevitably you do run into the issue. Do I want this? I want to do this first, and then I want to do this and see if this guy gets powered up because I discard 30, like 29 cards or something like that. That would be amazing if that was the truth, but I don't think it is. I am a little lost as far as what to do, as what games to play. I think it's mostly just gonna be me trying to catch up. There's tons of games I've simply, like, I could play this, but let's try this. I've simply just been really falling behind on playing games for a few years. Because I was working so much, I'm just not in the mood. Often I'd be in a catch-22 where I didn't feel like I deserved to play video games because I was looking for a job or didn't have a job at the time, or I would be too tired to play video games because I did have a job. It was this weird cycle for me.
I wonder.
I've come to, at this point in my life, and I may change my mind tomorrow, decided that it's kind of important to be picky about jobs and don't be afraid to quit them if they are bad. I've literally never had a job that I've liked, not even found tolerable. Probably something wrong with me, but they have all just been miserable nightmares for one reason or the other, and I've seen them all through to the end. Well, not exactly. My first job I did quit after like less than 6 months, I would say. But after that, all the other jobs well, that's not even technically my first job. My first job, I was fired in less than an hour, but the first real job that I had after that, I quit after 6 months because all the people I was working with were completely just aggressively mean to me, and I was young and everything, but I mean, seriously, looking back to it many years later, I still completely agree with myself that I should have quit it. In fact, more so, I should have quit earlier. But then, like I said before, I really fear for what the job environment and all of that is going to be for people in the future. Deal 30 damage, I guess.
Job done.
The problem simply is there's too many people, not enough jobs. The economy never really worked. Uh, the United States economy in particular never really worked. You can make a pretty much straight line for slavery that happened for the first long portion of it, and then de facto slavery, in which you paid people garbage, sharecropping and such, after slavery was technically illegal. And so you can pretty much draw a line from that to then
So many
I would say
possibilities. Wanted, dead or alive.
the mob bosses and illegal activities, prohibition era stuff. So not really then. And then even now, once we have the war on drugs started, we are back to a de facto slavery in which anybody thrown in jail is forced to work for slave wages again. So honestly, I'm not sure slavery has ever ended, and it's not even specifically only a race thing. It's simply just a greed thing. This guy, 6 damage to all enemy minions. I'm gonna play that. Cost 1 less for each minion that has died. So now I can play that.
Draw.
That worked well. And so now we have the issue of companies simply don't want employees. And then without having employees, nobody has income, because unless the United States really starts giving like welfare of some sort to everybody, the living wage, as it was, a living wage just for being alive, and then the economy falls apart. Destroy frozen minion. Let's see. Restore 8 health, draw 3 cards, deal 8 to a minion. What do I want to do? I guess... No, I don't want to restore 8. Deal 2 to all enemy minions. And then do this. And then do this. And where I fit in that picture, I don't know. But I don't think I have it in me to. I don't think I'm physically able to do most jobs at this point. Not just because I've been sitting around playing video games, but I was failing health even before then. And I don't think I'm emotionally capable of putting up with the BS of most jobs. And I know a job isn't supposed to just be fun. In fact, it can be pretty much a nightmare if all your coworkers or your boss thinks it's supposed to be fun, because that fun is eventually going to end, and it's going to be something like that. A great example of that is like, what is that? Orange County Chopper show. Let's play Druid. Like, on the face of it, as you started watching that series, because I watched a lot of that, it was supposed to be fun. It was all about being artistic and making these custom motorcycles and such. And by the end of it, it's just like not. It's like a father and his 2 sons working together, and I think by the end of it, the sons are are not are suing. One of the sons is suing the father, and the other is
I must protect the wild.
the other is just trying to get out of it completely. And it don't work with family, of course, is the first part of that. But jobs aren't supposed to be fun. They're not going to ever be. If somebody was willing to pay you to do something, that means that's because it wasn't fun. If you were willing to do it for free, then somebody would do it for free. I'm just gonna end my turn here. Next turn it would be better to play the coin than this if I have no other option. So I'm just gonna play this and this. Make that a 3-3. But there's a difference in my mind, at least, from what I think a job should be, and I've yet to find anyone in my life agree with this, where people are just professional, put their head down, get to work together, treat each other with a little bit of respect, and just mostly stay out of each other's way unless you really need to interact with the person. And that's all I kind of want. I just want to be able to do a job that I can actually succeed at, so you don't have management telling you get this year-long project done in 6 months, even though the management clearly knows that it can't be done in that time frame. Deal 1 and draw a card, I suppose I'll do that. I'm trying to get as many people on the board as I can keep and just do it. And yeah, I really have some what I think are simple desires. I just want to be able to do my job and be left alone. Two things, that's it. And I've never found, I mean, this is turning into a complaint fest, but I've never found a job like that. I've either been held back from doing what they want me to do, or I've been harassed by coworkers or harassed by management. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. They all kind of want you out. It's a silly thing, but after a while, management wants you out because they don't want to give you a raise. Your coworkers kind of want you out because they see you as a potential competition. Or your coworkers want to talk to you and be your friend, and then have neither one of you do your job, which doesn't work either. It's so awful. Every single experience I've had is awful, and I'm not exaggerating. Every single one. And maybe I've had a chain of bad experiences, which is probably the case, but I don't know. Except for this one. I mean, I guess I can say this job, I wake up, I decide to record. It's me I'm the manager that's yelling at me for if work is not getting done. I know the reason why I need to get work done. It's not a BS reason. I see the schedule, I see the big picture. None of that's hidden from me or intentionally changed in such a way to make it seem like things are more crucial than they really are. If anything, I make things sound a lot more crucial than they are. I mean, I'm 3 months ahead, but I say I'm falling behind because that's just my level of how far ahead I want to be. My quality, when I look at myself, is not good, and I really am struggling to figure out better ways to improve upon that, have more things to talk about. Of course, I don't really want to be covering a game that I want to have that full game coverage on my channel and be able to go back and look at it from years from now, and then having me talk about what I watched on TV in 2016. Those kind of that the only exception I make for that is this, because I seriously doubt many people are ever gonna watch these, and this is just my own personal, like, I'm just talking it out to talk to myself more than anyone else. But yeah, my quality and my commentary on playing a 30-hour game, I can only really put in, I would say, maybe 15 hours at most of commentary. So half the time I'm sitting there being quiet. I try to break it up and spread that as smoothly amongst the entire series as possible. But when you get down to it, there isn't so much you can say to it. When other people review games, they write a few paragraphs. They don't write 30 hours worth of paragraphs. Although maybe it takes some people that long to write that much, but so I'm probably doing longer form reviews in a different format than most written reviews. Homefront: The Revolution came out. It's garbage. I'll throw that out there to you. It's kind of a shame. I like the story concept, but I don't think I would have. I had no interest in playing it. Anyways, I don't know what you can really do with the United States being under control of another country that is going to be anything but kind of jingoistic power fantasy, yay rah rah America stuff. I don't see how you get away from that. It feels like that's exactly what it would be always. If he manages to not kill this guy, I think I could win here. I still may be able to win. Yeah, so if I take charge here, and then take this and +4 attack here, take this, do this, and do this. Sorry if I bored you. I guess I shouldn't apologize for that though, because these could all be boring. Again, not a lot to talk about. We did start later tonight simply because by choice. I could have totally messed myself up, of course, if I had started recording right now and just been unable to get the 3 quests done. But no problems there, and so I will probably try to start recording a little bit earlier, maybe 7 at my time. That way I have at least 3 hours to record one 45-minute recording, or if I get back to recording 3 45-minute recordings, that's still within a doable amount of time. Anywho, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. I could really do with some comments. The more comments, the better. Until I start saying I've got too many comments, more comments, give me some topics to talk about. I'll talk about them even if I don't know anything about it. If you want to support me, which would be very helpful, you can click on my name Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.